Listen, every now and then, the stock market gives us a setup that can literally change the short-term trend for a company, and right now Opendoor is in that exact position. If you're holding this stock, or even just watching it from the sidelines, the next few hours and days could tell us exactly where things are headed. Because what happened today in the trading session, the moves from shorts, the insider buying that just came out after hours, and the potential government shutdown all tie together in a way that could create either a massive opportunity or some serious pain for investors. That's why if you care about where Opendoor could be going, you need to stick with me through this entire video, because this one is important. Now, let's talk about what really happened today. Opendoor dropped about 2.8%. Earlier, it actually looked like it was building momentum and had the chance to run higher, but the broader market pulled it right back down. And that wasn't just an Opendoor problem. That was the entire market reacting to the fear of a government shutdown. Right now, Congress has until midnight to finalize a deal. If they don't, tomorrow could be extremely volatile for growth stocks across the board, and Opendoor is no exception. But if they do reach a resolution, you could see an instant rally, a sharp push higher that might actually catch shorts off guard. Speaking of after hours, something very important dropped. A new Form 4 filing showed an insider purchase. Transaction code P, meaning this wasn't stock options, this wasn't free shares. This was insiders using their own money to buy Opendoor stock. The purchase was just over $300,000, bringing insider holdings to about 1.9 million shares. That's not a small commitment. Now think back. On September 11th, insiders bought 451,000 shares at around $6.65. At the time, some investors complained that they were buying at a discount instead of full market price. I get that argument, but let's be real here. Most companies don't see directors stepping in at all. The fact that they're still committing their own money regardless of the discount tells me that insiders believe there's long-term upside here. If you were in their shoes, wouldn't you want the best price too? To me, it's still a bullish signal that matters. Here's another detail that makes the timing so interesting. October 1st marks the start of blackout periods. That means insiders generally can't purchase more stock unless it's through pre-planned trading programs. So this purchase could very well be the last insider buy of Q3, and the fact that it happened right before the new quarter starts, that says something. Add to that the fact that Opendoor is launching in new parts of Texas on October 1st, and suddenly you've got multiple catalysts lining up at once. Now let's look at the shorts. Today, short interest increased by about 141,000 shares. That brings the total to around 19.9% of the float, or roughly 141 million shares. That's a massive short position, and while shorts were more aggressive in the morning, they cooled off later in the day. What that tells me is that shorts are watching this news just like we are. If momentum turns positive, if a deal gets struck in Washington, and if Opendoor's launch generates excitement, that's when shorts could be forced to cover. And when you've got nearly 20% of the float shorted, any covering could create a pretty violent move higher. Now let's break down volume. Today, 169 million shares traded hands compared to the 382 million average. The bulk of that action came early in the day when volatility was highest. After hours, the stock barely moved, up just 1 cent. But that's the same story across most of the market right now. Why? Because everyone is waiting. Waiting to see what happens at midnight with the government deal. Waiting to see if insiders buying really translates into momentum. Waiting to see if Opendoor's Texas expansion creates the spark investors are hoping for. So, here's the bottom line. If lawmakers fail to strike a deal, expect a sharp pullback tomorrow across growth stocks, including Opendoor. If they do manage to secure a deal, especially if it happens right before midnight, the market could rip higher, and Opendoor will likely ride that wave. Add in insider buying, a major launch, and a high short interest, and you've got the recipe for a potential breakout. But of course, nothing is guaranteed in this market. That's why you've got to watch carefully how the next few sessions play out. And here's what I want from you. Do you see insider buying like this as a sign of confidence, Or do you think it's meaningless if they're buying at a discount? Personally, I think it's meaningful, but I want to know your opinion. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is one of those situations where sentiment really matters. Now, one last thing before we wrap this up. Pay attention to the news flow overnight. I'm tracking every headline out of Washington because if a resolution is announced, the reaction could be instant. If nothing happens, volatility is guaranteed tomorrow. Either way, I'll be back with a quick update as soon as new information drops, even if it's just a 1 or 2 minute video. So stick with me, keep your eyes open, and don't let the noise distract you from the bigger picture. And remember, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It's not financial advice. Always do your own research, and if you're making investment decisions, consult with a licensed financial advisor.